After 30 years of a childless marriage, the woman ended up in court. She wasn't just facing her husband, but also the 28-year-old son she never knew he had. The son announced that he was the only legal heir and was there to claim his inheritance. Her husband immediately took the boy's side. He said that this was his only bloodline, and the money should rightfully go to him. He then cruelly made fun of his wife. He told her that if she had a kid on the side, she could bring them to get the inheritance too, knowing perfectly well that she couldn't. But this whole nightmare had actually started 10 days earlier. She was cleaning the house when a young man showed up at the door calling for his dad. A second later, her husband came out and hugged the boy with a big smile. The betrayal was instant and total. He tried to say it was just a drunken mistake, but it was a pathetic lie. That's when she remembered their wedding day. He had looked her in the eyes and insisted they remain childless, saying he just couldn't stand being around kids. For 30 years, she stuck to their agreement and gave up her chance to be a mother for him. What she didn't know was that the whole thing was a long and devastating con. Back in her living room, the son was lounging on her sofa, telling her to get out so he and his new wife could move in. He shamelessly declared that his very existence was an original sin. Her husband defended him, telling her not to take her anger out on the innocent child. He added that he could never turn his back on his only family bloodline. He thought that after 30 years she was too old and weak to fight back. But in that courtroom, looking at their smug faces, something inside her just snapped. He thought he had already won. He was dead wrong. She looked her husband right in the eye and said something that completely shattered his victory. With an ice-cold voice, she asked if he really thought he was the only one with a secret son. Then she revealed that she didn't just have one, but that she had more than he did. To try and win her back, the husband begged and pleaded for 3 days, cooking every meal and sucking up to her. His little act came to an end when he saw a picture of his son on her phone. He snatched the phone, hung up the call, and put on a fake smile as he served her dinner. 3 days later, the act was up. He was openly video calling his son and giving him work advice. That's when she packed her bags. He stopped her, begged her to stay, and even offered to officially change the son's last name. She just smiled, told him to do whatever he wanted, and walked out to a waiting car, driven by her friend. He was thrilled, thinking he had won. What he didn't know was that he had walked right into her trap. 5 days later, she came back home and found her husband's son and his pregnant mother had already moved in. The son's mother scoffed and asked who she was. She was completely stunned when the strange woman confronted her. Just then, her husband's son and his pregnant fiancée showed up and made themselves comfortable on her couch. That's when she realized this wasn't just a family of 3, but a family of 4. It was only then that the woman realized the mother of her husband's son was also a woman she did not recognize. Her husband rushed to explain, but it was too late. With a single phone call, the woman called her own children over 3 sons and a daughter. Her husband just stared in disbelief. It turns out this wasn't a family of 3, but a family of 4. She had been playing the long game all along. Then the woman had everyone sit down. She revealed a joint bank account with $2,440,000 in it and explained the 6-digit password was split between them. She knew her half, and he knew his. Then she calculated the $500,000 still left on their mortgage. That left just over $1 million for his son's big wedding. The look on her husband's face just dropped. His son and his mother completely lost it. She just looked at her husband and reminded him that their shared assets were to be split equally among all their children. That's when her husband realized he'd been completely outsmarted. Her husband, who had been begging for her forgiveness for days, was shocked that she came back early. His surprise turned into rage when his wife calmly made a phone call. A second later, the front door opened and 4 young adults walked in. They were her children. The husband's mistress called her shameless, but the wife just said that if they were both going to bring secret kids into the marriage, at least hers were more respectable. He couldn't believe it and insisted they were her friend's kids, that she was just pretending were her own. After all, they'd been married for 30 years, and he was sure she had never cheated on him. He thought he knew everything, but he didn't know anything at all. What he didn't know was that she had a DNA test proving she was their mother. When he read the results confirming they were related by blood, his whole world fell apart. The mistress was speechless. His son snatched the papers, convinced they were fake. The truth was right there in black and white. It turned out that for years while her husband was away, her best friend had been helping her raise her secret children. Then she laid out her final trap. The husband, realizing he'd been outsmarted after 30 years of lies, could only sit there in stunned silence. His grand plan to secure his son's future was completely destroyed by the secret his wife had kept for a lifetime. The woman screamed at her husband, calling him a useless piece of trash who couldn't even get his own son money for his wedding. What she didn't know was that her husband was the one who started this whole mess. Just a few moments earlier, the wife in the blue suit sat there calmly while the new wife accused her of faking a DNA test to steal the family fortune. To settle things, the calm woman's rich friend suggested a new official test, but the husband and his new wife panicked and said no. The new wife was terrified that the woman's powerful friend could mess with the results. But the husband was hiding a much bigger secret. Just then, the woman in blue took out her phone and played a recording. It was her husband's voice, not only inviting her to bring their son back to share the inheritance, but also telling her to bring her other children, promising to treat them all as his own. The husband's face turned white. He suddenly grabbed his stomach and started coughing violently, collapsing onto the couch. His new wife finally understood. Her husband had been plotting with his mistress all along to bring an illegitimate child into their home to split the assets. Seeing his father's betrayal, the son announced he wasn't leaving until he got his share of the money. His mother immediately agreed and announced they were moving in right then and there. The woman in blue just smiled and called for her other two children, who walked in ready to pick out their rooms. The family was in total chaos, but what none of them knew was that their whole argument was being broadcast live. Miles away, the calm woman's best friend was watching every second of it on her laptop. She had secretly put tiny cameras in every room, making sure she had a front row seat to her friend's ultimate revenge. A ghost-like figure appeared behind the woman as she stood alone in the dark kitchen. This terrifying ghost was just the latest move in a nasty fight for the family fortune. They never thought she could actually come up with 2 more kids, but she had played all her cards at once, leaving them trapped. Feeling desperate, the son came up with a plan. He told his parents there was only one way out: a divorce. He explained that if they got divorced, their shared property would be split in half. This would let his mother get 50% of the fortune, which he could then inherit. It was a clever plan, but they forgot who was really in control. What they didn't know was that the ex-wife was one step ahead of them. I did no furtermise, and even sweet of usage. She let them scheme, knowing the money was in a bank account in her name. If they pushed her too far, she would just change the password and spend every last dime, leaving them with nothing. The husband, seeing his plan fall apart, immediately refused to get a divorce. His new wife exploded in anger, accusing him of still having feelings for his ex, but the husband was only pretending. He pulled his family close and whispered his real plan for how to get all the money for themselves. Miles away, the ex-wife's best friend watched the whole thing on a hidden camera, but the audio cut out just as the husband revealed his secret. Realizing the danger, the ex-wife immediately sent her children away to stay safely with her friend. She decided to stay in the house alone to find out what they were really up to. That night, a strange noise woke her up. She found a faucet running in the kitchen, and as she turned it off, a dog started barking like crazy outside. Suddenly, a ghost appeared right behind her. She screamed in terror as a sharp pain hit her chest. She stumbled through the house, trying to find her medicine, but when she finally found the first aid kit, it was empty. Her medicine was gone. She fell to the floor, grabbing her throat, while the young man held her life-saving medicine just out of her reach. He just smiled as she begged him for the pills. That's when she realized someone had taken her medicine on purpose. It was all part of their plan. Her ex-husband had seen her medical report that showed she had a heart condition. He would get everything. To speed things up, her ex-husband dressed up as a ghost covered in blood, hoping to scare her to death. Just when she thought it was all over, her children and her best friend burst in and caught the family red-handed. The husband was stunned. He couldn't understand how she could have survived. What he didn't know was that the medical report was a fake. The woman had set the whole trap just to expose their plan. She knew they would try something. As the family stared in shock, the woman turned to her best friend and took her hand. That's when the husband understood everything. She had known all along and had led them right into her trap to finally expose their murderous greed. The other family had viciously insulted her children, calling them illegitimate bastards who had no right to the family fortune. It turned out their whole family was terrified. The twins would challenge the mistress's son for the inheritance, since he claimed he was the only heir. The mother calmly revealed that the woman being attacked was her dearest sister. Years ago, seeing her friend was broke and alone, she made an impossible choice and asked her to secretly raise her own newborn twins for over 20 years. This incredible act of kindness was twisted by their greedy relatives. The aunt flew into a rage, screaming that the twins had to go, and when the mother's friend stood up to her, she was violently attacked. As all hell broke loose, the son held up his phone. He had recorded everything, them breaking in, the vicious attack, and their threats against his mother's life. He calmly told them the evidence of their attempted murder was now on its way to the police. The mistress fell to her knees, crying to the cheating husband that his wife and her secret children were bullying them. She cried that she couldn't live like this anymore, while her son complained they were stuck in a filthy dump. Just a few moments earlier, the husband had coldly demanded a divorce, wanting to split all their assets and sell the house immediately. What he didn't know was that his wife was already one step ahead. It turns out that during the big fight before, her son had secretly grabbed hair samples from both the husband and his illegitimate son. The wife now held the key to his complete downfall. Back in their miserable apartment, the mistress was sure her own plan couldn't fail. She urged her son to get a paternity test done with the hair sample she had collected. She was certain it would prove he was the rightful heir, and get them the entire fortune. But the wife was already making her master move. She had someone intercept the DNA test and change the results to show there was no biological link. The cheating husband stormed into the house, slammed a DNA report on the table, and declared his wife's children were illegitimate bastards who had no right to the family fortune. Seeing them fall for it hook, line, and sinker, The wife just looked at her cheating husband and calmly said that she agreed to the divorce.